Hello, this is J.N.S, and today we are commencing with the Divine Feminine series. And this is a very important topic because this is surely the age that we are going into as far as this dimension. And so the Divine Feminine is very important and becomes very important to the melanated woman, which is the Black woman. Okay, so I am very ecstatic to do this series. We're going to cover a lot. It's a video series, so just today is part 1. And today we'll be talking about the primordial mothers, what primordial water is, and the difference between the galactic energy between the Divine Feminine and, say, the archetypes of the Divine Feminine, which would be, your crone mother or the 7 sisters of the Pleiades star system. How does all of that relate to the Divine Feminine? Because we're going to usher this from the very top, and then we're going to bring it to the micro level, which is obviously the human level. But we're going to go from the archetypal level to the rawest energy that you can start with. And so that's why number 1, we're starting with the primordial waters, the birthing waters. And I'm going to talk about that and elucidate on that in regards to the Divine Feminine. And then the next video, we're going to talk about just the age of Aquarius and the age of Crone Mother Saturn. What does it mean to be the archetype of various dimensions of that primordial energy, which is the Divine Feminine? And so we're going to talk about that as well in the next video. And I just want to give you a lineup of everything that we'll talk about so that you can stay tuned and you can see, where I'm going with this. After that, we'll be talking about the 7 sisters and planets. We'll be talking about, in particular, the Pleiades star cluster in regards to the Divine Feminine. And then we're going to talk about the femininity movement and the difference between the femininity movement and the Divine Feminine, because there are big differences. They're not the same at all. After that, I got a video for the sisters that are broadening their horizons. We want to talk to the ladies that they say are divestors or whatever, or they are, dating now. And I want to talk about, that situation for the Black woman's dating prospects and her conditions for those that are broadening their horizons. The topic of that video is that the divestment movement would not save you. And so while that video is not to discourage any Black woman from doing what she wants to do in terms of her dating life. That is not what that video is about. However, it's just a call for us to go more deeper in terms of the logistics of Black women's situation in regards to their relationships, existential relationship crisis within the Black community, and even the white community and other communities that they are having existential relationship crisis too. Don't think it's just the Black American community. So I just want to get Black women into doing the inner engineering, inner reflexivity. So we talk about that. And so that is why it's not for me to come at, or try to control what Black women do with their vaginas or with their emotions or with their heart. It's just that we want to break down, the differences once again between what divestment was, between what sovereignty is, and between what the age of the Divine Feminine is. What does that look like in the age of the Divine Feminine? So I do want to address that. I absolutely want to address that. And then we're going to talk about the feminine archetypes, the Divine Feminine archetypes, such as the maiden, the sage, the queen, the huntress, the lover, the mystic, the seductress, the sophisticated, the coquette, the enigma, the goddess, the boss, the empress, the diva, the lady, the sensualist, the gamine. So we're going to talk about the various archetypes of the Divine Feminine within the collective consciousness that we see on a more physical dimension. And guess what? We're going to talk about the archetypes that exist in the galactic dimension in terms of the archetypes of the goddess kingdom or the goddess queendom, will you? So we're going to get into the goddess archetypes that you can actually embody. You are an archetype. You can create your own archetype as a Divine Feminine. And talk about that as well. It's like, how do you create your own archetype as a woman? So we'll be talking about the Izilidan Tor, Sekhmet, Pamajira, Hathor, Kali, Durga, Parvati, Lakshmi, various archetypes of women, Lucifer. We'll talk about those things. And when I talk about like, oh, how do you create your own archetype, or this idea of avatar descension, Kali J.N.S. I am certainly a dimension of an archetype of the divine goddess of the primordial mother. Absolutely, Kali J.N.S. is an avatar between Yeshua and Kali Ma. Absolutely, between my past lives, my experiences, my ascension as a master in different dimensions, and me coming back. Well, I didn't have to come back. I chose to. In this particular dimension as Jenny, I've certainly created my own archetype. I mean, it's certainly awakened into my avatar state as well. And so, we'll talk about what that looks like for the Black woman to, after she does her reflexive work, right? What you guys will call shadow work, but I just renamed reflexivity. I just put a video up about reflexivity and the difference between that and shadow work. If you guys want to learn more about that, I'm all about the reflexive lifestyle. And so, once this Black woman does her reflexivity, once she gets to a state of consciousness where she has a modicum of self-awareness and who she is as a divine, then she certainly can venture out into various archetypes and various dimensions of exploration between the mental plane and beyond, simply beyond. And so we'll be talking about that would be one topic, and we're going to go deep into the different goddesses. We're going to talk about the Tiamat as well. Obviously, some of the more the Oyas, your Oshuns. We're going to talk about all of that, and many of you know about Oshun from Beyonce, but we're going to go deep. And I'm not trying to get anybody into off your path that they're on, or if you into the church and all that, you do you. But we're going to talk about the divine feminine in all of its aspects, okay? And so that includes goddess iconography. Certainly you cannot talk about the divine feminine without touching upon goddess iconography, which was at one point dominant in this dimension. And so after that, we'll talk about how the divine feminine gives rise to the divine masculine. So we'll be talking about various mythology stories of proving my point of how first you get primordial darkness or primordial energy, then resonance, which is a combination of your Heka, air and spirit and words, and then you get the divine masculine and electromagnetism. Well, you get electromagnetism, then the divine masculine, rather. And so we'll be talking about the relationship between, let's see, Lilith and Adam, and then Adam and Eve, which is Lilith and Adam was the first creation story. Then we're going to get into Shiva and Kali, and then we're going to study nature. We're going to just talk about it from a scientific level and whatnot. And so we'll be talking about the dangers of sitting up under male pastors in this age of the divine feminine. And we'll talk about even the original version of how like these religions had the divine feminine in them, and particularly we'll talk about some of the teachings of Yeshua and his take on the divine feminine. We'll get into that. We'll get into some of the sacred texts. Well, not sacred, but the hidden texts of the Bible regarding like some of the Nag Hammadi texts, some of the Gnostic teachings. We'll talk about what Jesus had to say about women, how he chose the woman, and we'll get deep in. You have to just bear with me on this because I'm excited, and so I don't want to just overload you guys with information, like information overload, just dumping out. So we're gonna take it slow. We're gonna go, one by one. We'll take it really slow. Then we're gonna talk about the different species of women. Okay, due to the war that was declared on women, we're gonna talk about the war between the divine feminine and the divine masculine that is in the galactic realm and in the more physical realm on this dimension. We're going to talk about what happened to Tiamat and the raping of the goddesses from the males trying to switch the energy of the electromagnetism. We're going to talk about how the fallen angels, what really happened. Okay, because the story is not being told correctly, and in regards to different dimensions of what you would call heaven, or what you would call uh, a higher realm or whatever. But when we had the fallout, it wasn't solely about just, rebellion, and this idea of when we talk about the fallen angels, we don't tell that whole story correctly. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm writing about that, and there's parts of the story that is left out, surely. So we're going to talk about the different species of women. We're going to talk about how Black women and other races of women were actually genetically spliced. Many of them, not all of them. Many of them were created from homunculus alchemical transformation to create life-size homunculus, adult-size homunculus rather, of a female species, to actually placate to the male species. This is what you get the idea of the Mamian mule. That is a created archetype from genetics experimentation on Black women that was done by thousands of years ago, actually, by your sons, and that you male identify women love so much. And so we're going to get into it. We're going to get into the war on the divine feminine and what the males did. And I've been talking about that for 3 years. That's a little redundant because I have whole books on it. The Nocti Queen Mothership. I have a course at Nocti University talking about the Queen Mothership in terms of the overthrow of the Black woman, what happened between Black men, Black women in Africa, and how it trickled over into America and everywhere. And so what I want to talk about now is how it happened in the galactic realm, and what happened between how these religions switched the goddess iconography in all religions, including Islam, including Christianity, and Chinese, Japanese spiritual systems, Hinduism. We're going to talk about how they all switched to these to be more male dominated in terms of how we see the divine. And that's very new for a human species. That's very, very new for even in a universal sense, because it's I won't say it's strange. From my dimension, it's strange, but at the same time, it's like, okay, there were always male gods, so it wasn't a big deal. But the lack of balance that came with it, and the desecration of the woman and the divine feminine, is where you go wrong. So it's the desecration of the divine feminine and the treatment of women that is allowing this age to come back. That engendered this age of the divine feminine, because it's like, okay, you guys are way too out of balance. You're going to self-destruct. And so we need the divine feminine ushered in, and we need women to be awakened, because it's like, okay, the divine feminine is here. It's clearly here, but what happens when the Black woman is out here out of her mind, or when the white woman and all these women are out of their damn mind, thinking that they are inferior, thinking that they don't have any value unless they have the value outside of what society tells them. You must do these things. You must look this way. You must be this way, instead of going to the self, instead of going to the internal realms of the primordial goddess within. And so the women themselves are brainwashed. The women themselves want to be conquered. The women themselves are against the divine feminine. The women themselves. And so these women themselves have turned into agent smiths against their own self-interest. And so, they're dangerous. And they contribute to the backwardness of this planet. Absolutely. Everything is in reverse, and you have all these hospitals, you have all these schools, you have all these things, and people are still sick. You have all these fucking hospitals and people still sick. You got all the churches on every damn corner and people still lost out their goddamn mind. I don't see where was the last Yeshua? Yeshua talked about enlightenment. Yeshua talked about all ye are gods, all ye are sons of the Most High. You are all gods. And the kingdom of God is within. Greater work shall you do than me if you put in the work. This is what is in the Bible. So where's all these other Yeshuas? There's a bunch of churches on every corner, especially in the Black American community. You got a church everywhere. Church on every damn corner. And people still poor. People still unenlightened. People still suffering. Got all these schools. People still dumb as fuck. You got all these institutions, all of these structures. And these people still lost like cattle, like sheep. And so the divine feminine is back, man. And there's nothing anyone can do about it. No one can do nothing about the day and age that we are damn in. And the Hopi Indians tried to warn you. The Mayans tried to warn you. The Africans tried to warn you. You know, we've been saying the same stuff for the last thousands of years of this day. You've been warned thousands of years ago of this age. And so now humanity has to make a choice. Either they're going to self-destruct or you're going to raise to a higher consciousness. And then for many of us, you're going to go into a silos of consciousness. You're going to see yourself ushered into silos of consciousness. And they're going to be people that try to hold you back, Black woman. They're going to be people that literally are so jealous of your ascension and of your gifts. And they're going to try to literally keep you in, a dimension that you are too big for, that you are way transcended beyond. And so when we usher in this age of the divine feminine, we want to encourage Black women's autonomy, their empowerment, so that they can see deception and so that they are in full control of every faculty of their mind, every faculty of their soul, and they are primed for growth. And so that's what this series is about. Okay, so after we talk about the war in the divine feminine, we're going to talk about ways to ascend. We're going to talk about crystals to ascend the divine feminine. We're going to be talking about obviously the menstrual cycle of the power of the blood of the Black woman. You guys want to talk about this blood cult shit that y'all do, this blood sacrifice magic that y'all do, which to me is the lowest of the low. But you have period blood, Black woman. And you don't work with your own period blood, but you rather go and kill a damn goat or some chicken somewhere instead of working with the power of your own damn menstrual cycle blood. Totally insanity for us that's in the know. And so we're going to be doing a video on that, sisters. We're going to be doing a video on the menstruation cycle. How you need to embrace that period. Don't ever they've done so much things with the period where the Black woman, she dreads getting her period. The Black woman, oh, I got cramps, oh, I got this, period coming, oh my God, I got PMS and all this. No. That is the age of divine. You need to be looking forward to your period. You want to be saving some of that blood if some of you are hitting your menopausal ages. You want to be working with that. That's the blood you need to be working. You don't need nothing else outside of yourself, Black woman or woman. Nothing outside of yourself. You want to work with the life force energy of the blood? Work with your own. You get 1,000 times more power that way than would you want to cut off a chicken or sacrifice a family member. Some of you bitches are sacrificing your own daughters, trying to. And so, yeah. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about how should we approach men in the age of the divine feminine. What is the role of the men in the age of divine feminine? Okay. And this thing that Black women do in particular, their value on whether they have a man or whether they have children. We're going to talk about, the childless woman by choice. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about why some women are certain ages beautiful, have everything going for themselves, and single. And these women are very intelligent, and people would say, oh, they must be cursed because they don't got no man or some stupid shit like that. No, there's reasons why a lot of women will opt out of children, will opt out of making the institution, getting involved in the institution of marriage. There's a lot of reasons behind it. That could be from pacts. There's certain etheric orders that they are very much aware of that they belong to. When we talk about etheric orders, we're not talking about earthbound orders. We're talking about women that know that they were sent here for a specific mission. It could be because there's shit in their ancestral bloodline that they don't want trickled down to their kids, Masonic debt. It could be being involved with horrific orders and pacts and stuff that your ancestors made that you simply just don't want to carry on to children, or you don't want to. Some women are so powerful, they'll embrace an ascetic lifestyle of celibacy, because they don't want men that are predatorial, that are in such a low state of consciousness in today's age with the divine masculine and completely wiped off from their divine self. They don't want that inside of them. They know the power they have. Some of these women know how powerful they have. They have power to change fucking weather, cause thunder. You think it's a game? And they're not about to just go with no Joe Schmo and let them inseminate them or impregnate them. And so we're going to talk about why would a black woman decide to be childless and manless, as you guys love. The black community loves to shame these women, and these women laugh all the way to the bank, or they laugh all the way to the spiritual bank. So they laugh all the way to heaven. They laugh all the way to literally the bank. And so, some women, they don't want to give nobody a ride out. They don't want nobody hitching a ride off of them. They want they power for themselves. And so you'll see that. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about this attack on the divine feminine. How there's an attack with, they want to talk about bonus holes instead of calling it vagina. They want to talk about chest feeding instead of calling it breast. They want to give synthetic wombs and create synthetic wombs and test tube baby and all this nonsense to undermine the divine feminine. Have biological males participate in women's sports as and all this nonsense. We're going to talk about all of that. What's that truly about? That's, again, the usurping. That's insane jealousy of the divine feminine. You can't get more crazier than that, than to be talking about males can have children. Like I've seen articles on it talk about men can have children and get pregnant, and how do we give a synthetic womb in a man and all that. It's ridiculous. Chest feeding instead of breastfeeding. No, breasts, titties. No. And so look at the agenda, this backwards of, this obsession with making everybody, genderless. Telling women that they are what they call birthing people and all this stuff. Trying to tell women they can't say menstruation. I think they're trying to change the name of that. And so we have to say no. We want to talk about what else here? What else do we have here? The black woman and black baby, obviously the Black Madonna. We're going to talk about how the single motherhood, and this is not me coming at mothers, don't think that, the single motherhood trope that's in the black community is actually a MK Ultra Masonic curse that males put on black women. And I'll tell you how they do that. They try to do that to me, and I've seen them do it to friends. The women themselves don't know that that's what they under. They don't know that they under a MK Ultra Masonic curse. They don't know that. But since I had tried to do that to me, and I know what it looks like now, so I see actually how it's done, and I know first, just from observing my community, observing the black women in my community, I'm like, oh, that's what's happened. That just happened with Halle Bailey, the baby girl that just played Little Mermaid with the guy that she was in. The baby girl that was in the Little Mermaid movie, the guy that she just got with, that rapper. If you look at the lyrics of when he was talking about how he's insecure and talking about her in the films and her in the movies, and then how he was going to get her pregnant and ruin the career and all that. That's what I was talking about, the MK Ultra cursing, that males do to women, to black women. They do it to black women all the time. Jamaicans even have a thing where they say, she's a good girl. You want to? Oh man, I forgot what the Jamaican lady told me. She told me exactly what they do, and she didn't call it MK Ultra Masonic curse. She called it something else. But she said the men are preying on these women doing that. Like if it's a good girl, a real pretty girl, they'll plot and say we're gonna mess her up, get her pregnant, And so I want to talk about that with the black woman. And again, this is not to shame, if you're already a single, because there's transmutation, there's alchemy. So just because somebody tried to do that to you, or that has been done to you, you can always alchemize that, transmute that into the goddess with baby, Madonna and baby. And that's all you got to do. And so we'll talk about what that looks like, the curse itself, and then we'll talk about how to transmute and alchemize the curse, right? To Madonna and baby, or Black Madonna, the goddess and baby, Izilidantor and baby. And so we'll talk about what that looks like, because that is important that you do that, to alchemize that, and to get out of that and not go into that cycle, that we see many of our Black women with the baby mama, baby daddy drama and all that nonsense. So we're gonna get deep into that. And after that, I believe that's what we have. That's what that's the series for now. If I need to add more, we'll add more. But I really want you, Black woman, to understand what this age is, and we're going to actually, start on the first video. I wanted to give you a rundown. I know that was a lot, but I wanted to give you a rundown of what we're going to talk about for the whole series, so you stay tuned. I am doing this for free because I just want to get this out, but I do ask that you support my work in its entirety in any capacity that you can. I have courses on Nocti University for the Black woman, Nocti Queen Mothership. I do have to transfer over the peptide addiction course, and I'm working on that. And I have books. I have 16 books, books for Black women, Nocti Self-Redox for Black women, Nocti Queen Mothership Part 1. I encourage you to get the Nocti Philosophy. I encourage you to get that one. Tantra, if you want to experience enlightenment with yourself or with another partner, how to practice Tantra sex. I got a book on that. I have books for Black American Alchemy Reservoir, if you're a Black woman that's more into the community, if you want to know more about that. There's tons of books. And so I encourage you to purchase something from me to at least reciprocate that energy that I'm giving out. This is obviously a lot of information I'll be giving out. A lot of it is esoteric in nature. A lot of things I'm going to, this particular video, this first one that I'm going to show you today with the Primordial Darkness and Primordial Mother, tons of information. It's way ahead of its time. It's incredibly ahead of its time, and it's enlightening. And so what I would like you to do, and it's just what this brings me to what my next statement, this video is going to actually, I'm going to give a synopsis, a summary, a part of my 17th book that I'm writing called The Nocti Queen Mothership Part 3. The Language of the Gods in the Age of the Divine Feminine. Okay? And so Nocti Queen Mothership Part 3, it just covers a plethora of, oh my gosh, of the Divine Feminine in the rims beyond Earth, pretty much. So we talk about the feminine images of God. We talk about the Shakti goddesses. We talk about the Divine Feminine in Africa, the Divine Feminine in Urt, the Divine Feminine in Egypt, ancient Crete, the Divine Feminine in Babylonian empires. Then we talk about the pre-Adamic ancient orders that are 125 levels above this earth. Okay? Where I'm from. We talk about the ancient order of Kali. There was the ancient order of Kali. I just brought that back. That's now called the Nocti Queen Mothership. We're going to talk about the ancient order of Kali that gave rise to Atlantean Freemasonry. Not this what you see here. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Atlantean Freemasonry, which is way different than what is what you see now. Then we're going to talk about the war between the divine feminine and divine masculine. We do the true story of the fallen angels and Lucifer. We talk about the ancient code of Tehuti, because Tehuti was very much about the age of the divine feminine. He, in fact, was our baby, in the heavenly realms. Like, he just sat up under us and learned everything he could and flipped the game on its head, came down here in this dimension and taught what he knew, went to other dimensions and mediated between other, he's a mediator of gods, but they don't tell you, they just say he's a mediator of the Egyptian gods. No, he's a mediator of many gods and many dimensions across many galaxies. And so Tahuti really got the game from the divine feminine and honored it and respected it and put himself on the levels where, very few people get to, very few entities get to. And so, if people were smart, they would really study him, and they would really try to channel. And again, these are archetypes of dimensions. These are dimensions. They become entities in a sense that you can certainly interact with, like a simulation. I don't know, I don't want to say video game, but just a cool dimension, archetype of a dimension. So then we talk about the primordial darkness. That's what we're covering today, ladies. And I talk about the primordial darkness in Judaism. The primordial darkness in Egypt, the primordial darkness in India, the primordial darkness in Asia, the primordial darkness and the battles against the primordial darkness. Then we talk about resonance, how resonance was created from the primordial darkness. Then we talk about how the divine feminine was removed from Christianity. Then we're going to talk. This is all in Dr. Queen Mothership Part 3. So please purchase this book when it comes out. Okay, I'm giving y'all a sneak peek for the primordial darkness chapter, but please go and support this work. This is brilliant work, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I put a lot into this, and I wrote this at a really trying time in my life. Enlightening time, certainly trying. Okay, you know how you talk about the Tower card in tarot, where it's like everything shatters, but you have epiphany and revelation, and because it's from a higher power causing that shattering and trying to get you to understand and to see things that you are oblivious to, break spells, break curses, break things that people try to put on you. And so that's what I was hit with. Certainly the Tower card. The Tower card, where you see people falling out, and then it's like the lightning, and and they falling out the Tower of Babel and all that. And so that card is not all gloom and doom. Certainly there's worse cards in the tarot, as you know, but that particular card is one of epiphany and sudden revelation, shock to your ass, so that you get it and so that you wake up. Okay, so that you wake up and that you ground yourself, but you also wake up. You can wake up and you be out here floating in damn dimensions in the universe somewhere, and you go to the average person, you sound crazy. And so you have to ground yourself, and that's what Goddess did with me. So I thank Goddess for that. Because I was certainly like, in outer space, like we in a spaceship, like we doing this, we doing that, and so you have to come back and you have to be grounded. Okay. So and this, and I really felt like that as I was writing this book. Like I was channeling as I was writing this book. So it was a lot, and then also giving that research, that scholarship. Okay, and so next we talk about the nature of Yeshua and the politics of early Christianity. We go into the canonization of Christianity, the Book of Enoch, the Apocrypha, the Dead Sea Scrolls, Gnosticism, the Nag Hammadi text, Jesus' views on the divine feminine, Christ consciousness, and all the my staccato teachings. Some of my interpretations of what Christ consciousness is in relation to the divine feminine, the language of the gods, and some of my teachings, my general teachings as a master teacher, and as a descended avatar, or ascended master, as you will. And so please get the Nocti Queen Mothership Part 3, the language of the gods in the age of the divine feminine, as a token of goodwill for me doing this entire series for you, because I'm not covering the stuff that's covered in this book. The only thing that I'm covering for you is in this book is the primordial darkness, because that's very important, that we can't talk about the divine feminine without addressing primordial water. You just can't. And so I'll be talking about that and Jesus Christ's views on the divine feminine. And so that's the only or Yeshua, as we know, or Issa, for those who are really in the know as far as his lost years in India. But we're going to be talking about that. That's the only topics that I'll cover from the book. But the rest, you have to go get that book, and that pre-Adamic ancient orders, the ancient order of Kali. Mind blowing, because that was pure channeling of my past lives, of me as in my higher self. And so you guys want to get that, especially when we learn about the fallen angels, the rift between Lucifer and 33% of the angels that left with him, and how the rest of us, there was some that was really, mad about it. It's brothers and sisters, and there was some of us that just didn't give a shit. Okay, you want to go, you want to go, you want to leave, you want to leave. And then some of us that understood and still didn't care, or understood and was sad, or some did not understand and was angry. Some just didn't care for the disrespect of our God, our creator God, mother. We see as a mother. You guys see as a male for some reason. But our creator God that creates all of the other gods and all of the other religions and all of the other species of entities and aliens and extra, like that type of thing, you know. And so that it covers that. We cover that in detail. It's very esoteric, very occult. I'm pretty sure that, everything I put out, it's like I put out some amazing shit and it's like shadow ban. So, I mean, I guess like 1,000 years from now, or maybe 500, maybe somebody will find my shit in a cave somewhere like they did the Nagamati text and the scenes in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Maybe that's what happened with the Nakti philosophy. I don't know. But support me as I traverse through this universe, constantly under psychic, constantly under spiritual attack from organizations, and I'm constantly, you know, um, doing my big one, doing what I can do to protect myself and ground myself and protect my mind and my soul. Okay, and so I'm constantly in that and so many of you are too. Many of you black women who are chosen ones, who are ancient ones, who are goddesses in human flesh, who are targeted individuals. Maybe you're just too enlightened, or you can be someone that has the potential to be enlightened and you not be aware of it, and then you're still targeted. And so many of you black women fall into that category as well. And so I want to encourage you women to, if you're dealing with things like that, I want to also, we'll probably do a video on that, like what happens if the black woman, the targeted black woman that is a light, a potential light beacon, and may not know that. And so how do we awaken that? And what do you do when you're dealing with those psychic attacks from Agent Smiths? That could be your own family. What do you do when whole ass organizations, occult organizations and covens come after you? Like what do you do? And so black women have to deal with that because of our power. Many of us are not human. Some of you think you're human because you're under MK Ultra, or you're just completely lost. But and so I want to do this series for you. I want to do this series for myself, obviously, because it's a lot. What goes in has to come out, and so God has put a lot in me, so I give a lot out. And so I'll be doing this series for you. Let's start. Remember, we're on the primordial mothers, primordial water, what we call the Great Mother. And this is very galactic in a sense. Okay, so it's very different from, say, how we talk about the Chrome Mother Saturn, or how we talk to an archetype of a goddess, like Sekhmet or Kali. Like this, we're talking about the top of the dome. The dome. Energy before galaxies form. Energy before planets form. Energy before universes form. Okay? That's what we mean when we talk about primordial water. And primordial water is dark. And if you guys are like, okay, you're talking about darkness, oh my gosh. What is making the light right now when you see daytime? It's the sun. What if there's no motherfucking sun? Then what? What if you're in some of you guys know about Alaska. You know what happens with that sun in Alaska. They have very little sun in Alaska. It's always nighttime there. Do you know that there's certain planets and certain dimensions where it's just always nighttime? Because you're in cosmic womb, cosmic black womb. It's just dark. It's melanin. Cosmic melanin. Cosmic darkness, primordial energies, primordial waters. And I'm going to prove to you, when, some of you ladies that love to thump that Bible, I'm going to prove to you how primordial mothers has always been dark. And it's right in your Bible. Oh, sure is. And so I'll be reading you specific passages from that. Okay? And so from my dimension as Kali, the primordial mother is looked at as a Holy Spirit. Because this is an energy that rains out and creates species. This energy, it creates obviously galaxies, universes, planets, solar systems, but it creates species, entities. So you obviously have the human species, and it creates the avians, the Andromedians, the Pleiadians. It gets deep. It gets deep, and I know we don't see things in a galactic sense because you guys are still into the religion paradigm, but one day you'll see it. Very, very much soon. And some of you, are a mixture of those species. Maybe you come from the Sirius star system. Maybe you come from Orion. Maybe you come from the Pleiades star cluster. Maybe you come from the Andromedan star cluster. So this is what I mean when I say that this primordial energy gives rise to the various species. It gives rise to the various archetypes. Obviously, the various dimensions, the archetypes of the goddesses. And so when we talk about like this Holy Spirit, primordial water, primordial darkness, and that with resonance, obviously that gives out this Holy Spirit. And when I mentioned, how the Atlanteans view like the Holy Spirit as the first ancient grandmother, great grandmother, that's what I meant. They were talking about the primordial mother, like the Atlanteans, which is they're in a dimension that's far away from this bullshit that y'all got going on down here. But they got called home when they started messing up down here. Primordial great mother say, "Come on, everybody go back to their dimension, or you go to your learning lessons." Period. But the Atlanteans, okay, the ones that wasn't with the fuckery, they was able to go do their own thing and still doing their own thing. But the Atlanteans, because when we talk about Atlanteans, that's a state of consciousness. So you may be a mixture of a different species with it. So you can be an Anunnaki Atlantean mixed with other Draco energy, mixed with Pleiadian energy, mixed with Lemurian. You can be that and still be technically to have Atlantean light codes, Atlantean DNA. And so when I had mentioned, in a channeling that the Atlantean, the Holy Spirit for the Atlanteans is like, this is like our first like grandmother. Like this is how close we don't see a distinction between spiritual material, or that such as a far off distinction between us and God. Like God is like a mother, a great mother or a grandmother, and so, and it's like that even with some angels, with some of the angelic beings as well. We don't see, it's like this is our creator God, but this is like our creator great mother. And we'll get promotions as far as our councils, as far as like, and it's not even like promotions, but like as far as like rank and the ability to have certain powers, to borrow certain energies from that primordial mother, or to borrow or exchange or to become a part of. That's not the borrow and that's not the right words that I'm looking for. I don't have the words to express in English what I'm trying to say in terms of that. Maybe feedback loop is what is the best word. Feedback loop between God and the created. That would be the best concept that I can think of. That energy, and that she'll lend that power. She'll give those gifts to those who seek after her. Seek ye the face of God, and all, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things be added to you. Those type of things. And so that's just simply what I meant when I talked about that. And so again, the primordial mothers and the primordial darkness gives rise to resonance and electromagnetism, and then the divine masculine. And so, in the pursuit of a more scholarly exposition, I want to dive into this primordial darkness and its role in shaping the universe, along with the symbolism of the cosmic ocean, cosmic primordial waters as a ubiquitous motif across various cultures and civilizations. Again, I'm going to prove to you how every religion and every concept talks about primordial mothers and primordial darkness. Everyone. And so, here I am going to just simply read to you a chapter out of, remember, the Nocti Queen Mothership Part 3, The Language of the Gods and the Age of the Divine Feminine. Go and get that book. I'm going to just read to you some information from there verbatim. And I want you guys to take it slow and to just, keep an open mind. I am going to be reading verses from various schools of thoughts. We're going to talk about the primordial darkness and Egypt and Abrahamic religions and Islam. We're going to go there. Okay. Or maybe not Islam. India and Asia. Okay, so let's start. Primordial darkness, often embodied by the notion of melanin, represents an elemental and profound aspect of the universe. It serves as the wellspring from which resonance, frequency, and light emanate, ultimately giving rise to the fundamental forces governing the cosmos. This encompasses electromagnetism, gravity, and strong and weak nuclear force. The metaphysical darkness residing at the core of the universe can be regarded as the quintessential wellspring of creation and cosmic intelligence. Within this paradigm, the dark goddess emerges as a personification of the divine feminine principle, akin to the concept of Shakti in certain spiritual traditions. Remember, Shakti just means feminine energy. It is imperative to underscore that references to darkness in this context are entirely divorced from moral connotations or human behavior or conventional notions of good and evil. Primordial darkness does not mean primordial evils or primordial bad. It just means primordial perceptions beyond time and space, beyond form, beyond mind, beyond that. Okay, beyond its awareness itself. So it's beyond mind, it's beyond forms, and it's beyond constructions. It's beyond perception. Okay, so that's all it means, the unknown. And so from these primordial waters, this primordial darkness, the earth and the entirety of the cosmos emerge, symbolizing the genesis of existence from the chaotic abyss, chaos intelligence. In essence, the cosmic ocean embodies the very essence of chaos itself, serving as a crucible for the universe's genesis. The profound cosmic ocean motifs finds resonance in the mythologies of diverse cultures, including Hasidism, Alihak, Alivism, ancient Egyptian, ancient Greek, Judaism, ancient Indian, ancient Persian, Sumerian, and Zoroastrianism. It stands as a testament to the universality of this primordial concept. Ancient creation narratives frequently depict the primordial dark waters, okay, having once inundated the entire expanse of the universe, serving as the primal source from which the gods themselves emerged. That's very important. Creation therefore entails the demarcation of a habitable rim distinct from the encompassing waters. The cosmic ocean as a conceptual entity embodies boundlessness, a rim devoid of order or structure, characterized by its amorphous, formless, and formidable nature. In some myths, it is described as cacophonous, contrasting starkly with the ordered rhythm of the sea, further emphasizing its inherent chaos, its chaos intelligence, dark waters. The chaos within the tapestry of creation can be personified either by the element of water itself or through the unstructured interplay of these primordial waters. It is a profound and integral aspect of the universe's narrative, showcasing intricate dance between order and chaos that underpins the very fabric of existence. And I also want to say the primordial waters becomes very important because obviously the microcosm of that is the black woman during pregnancy, or the woman during pregnancy, when the baby is engulfed in dark waters and dark womb, inside of the womb, gestating, and copes in an envelope of melanin. And so this is very much something that in a micro level can be seen within humans when the baby is in primordial waters. Okay, dark waters, darkness, primordial darkness, primordial waters. And it's a chaos intelligence still it's evolving. It's the baby, it's a process. The idea of pregnancy and birth and rebirth, it's chaos intelligence. It can be chaotic at times, and it's also rewarding. Don't think that chaos is this bad thing, when we talk about it. Certainly not. You can cause chaos and ruckus, but when we talk about chaos intelligence, we're talking about how the intuitive process of how intuition defies logic, but it's still fucking brilliant. And that is what the primordial mother is. Primordial. Oh my gosh, you guys wouldn't believe it. How that level of intelligence will fry your damn brain out. Okay? And so, that's what I mean when I say chaos intelligence. This intuitive realm of the unknown that produces phenomena that cannot be really defined by logic or physics, but it's so fucking brilliant, and you can see its intelligence. You know it when you see it. A lot of women have chaos intelligence. A lot of women, I can see it in a lot of women. Women are more prone to have chaos intelligence because they're less linear, less logical, and it's not a bad thing at all, as much as men demonize you for it. So let's keep going. Before the emergence of the solar systems and stars and planets, the universe harbored a state of primordial darkness. In scientific terms, this darkness represents a phase in the cosmos' evolution when it was enveloped in a shroud of unmanifest potentiality. At this juncture, we encounter the concept of chaos intelligence, which encapsulates the intricate interplay of dark energy, melanin, and the quantum realm. Dark energy, a mysterious force permeating space, exhibits an innate capacity to fuel the universe's expansion akin to an unseen hand guiding cosmic growth. On a more microscopic scale, melanin, a pigment fundamental to life on Earth, resonates with the ancient echoes of this primordial darkness, serving as the conduit for capturing and transmuting energy. In the quantum realm, where the rules of classical physics yield to the peculiar laws of quantum mechanics, the seeds of creation lay hidden, waiting to coalesce into the stars, galaxies, and celestial bodies that would eventually illuminate the cosmic tapestry. Thus, primordial darkness within a framework of chaos intelligence symbolizes not only the absence of visible light, but also the genesis of cosmic order from the profound potentiality that resides in the depths of the quantum cosmos. Okay? And so think about that. And that's what our information was fucking misinterpreted by like these people. And stolen from us, and like now you have people thinking, oh, darkness means you can do whatever, go to the dark, like mess with children or something crazy. It's a complete misinterpretation of our material, of what darkness meant. Okay, and so primordial darkness, a concept deeply entwined with the archetype of the primordial mother, resonates across numerous world religions and mythologies. These often neglected narratives celebrate the divine feminine principle as the source of creation and the womb from which all life emerges. Whether embodied as Kalima in Hinduism, Tiamat in Mesopotamian lore, or Oya in the Yoruba traditions, these goddesses symbolize the creative potentiality and the transformative power inherent in primordial darkness. Sadly, the rich tapestry of these narratives has often been concealed or marginalized throughout history. Yet within these tales lies a profound and universal truth that the primordial mother, cloaked in darkness, is the eternal wellspring of existence, birthing galaxies, stars, and life itself. Embracing and restoring these narratives allow us to rediscover the sacred wisdom that has been long obscured, offering a deeper understanding of the divine feminine and central role in the cosmic order of the universe. Great. So now we're going to talk about primordial darkness in Judaism. So pay close attention, and for those who have ears to hear, please motherfucking hear. So you're about to go deep. In the biblical creation story of Genesis, the concept is vividly depicted. The text portrays a world initially enveloped in darkness, hovering upon the face of the deep waters known as Tehom. This watery abyss, often referred to as a primordial sea or cosmic ocean, symbolizes a state of potentiality where nothing yet exists in its discernible form. It is from this state of formless chaos that creation is initiated. The same shit I just said, right in the Bible. So, for example, in Genesis 1:1, it states, at the beginning of God's creating the heaven and the earth, when earth had been tohu and bohu, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God hovered over the face of the waters. Just right there. God said, let there be light, and there was light. Let there be resonance. Boom. Heka. Let there be light. Tohu and bohu, darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God hovered over the face of the waters. Darkness. They ain't say evil. We talking about the cosmic realm. That's all we're talking about. The mention of darkness and waters preceding the creation of heaven and earth underscores the significance of the primordial elements in shaping the universe's origins. Darkness represents the absence of light and order, while water symbolizes a boundless and unordered state. The notion that the Spirit of God hovered over the face of the water signifies the divine presence initiating the act of creation, bringing order and light to a previously chaotic expanse. These stories serve to remind us that the fundamental role chaos intelligence plays in the creative process. Chaos in this context isn't synonymous with disorder or malevolence, but rather signifies the indeterminate and fertile ground from which all life and structure emerge. It emphasizes the interconnectedness of darkness, water, and the divine as foundational elements in the grand tapestry of existence across various mythologies and belief systems. This mysterious passage in David's Song of Deliverance, it's Psalms 18 in the Bible, by the way. I love this. I'm going to read this to you. It's going to blow your mind. Mentions darkness and the primordial water. So let's read Psalms 18. Chapter 18. In my distress, I called upon the Lord. I'm going to tell you who wrote this. In the original, we didn't say Lord. He didn't say Lord. Sibyls wrote this. Black women wrote this, by the way. David got credit, whatever. In my distress, I called upon the Lord and cried unto my God. She heard my voice out of her temple. Obviously, this is all say he. And my cry came before him, even unto his ears. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations of the hills moved and were shaken because she was wroth. There went up a smoke out of her nostrils. This is in the Bible. Obviously, it says he, but I'm saying she because this is how it was originally written. There went up a smoke out of his nostrils and fire out of her mouth. Let me start over. There went up a smoke out of his nostrils and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. Come on, Primordial Dragon. Wake your ass up. There went a smoke out of her nostrils and fire out of her mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. Then the earth shook and trembled. Now listen to this part. She bowed the heavens also and came down, and darkness was under her feet. And she rode upon a cherub and did fly. Yea, she did fly upon the wings of the wind. Spacecraft. She made darkness her secret place. Her pavilion round about him were dark waters, and thick clouds of the skies. Come on. And the brightness that was before him, thick clouds passed, hailstones and coals of fire, solar flares, solar storm. Them flares that be. And we talking about firestorms, literally hitting the motherfucking earth, like dragging, like boom, like firestorms, hailstones and coals of fire. Just imagine fire solar storms hitting the motherfucking earth, like clear as day. God also thundered in the heavens, and the highest gave her voice, hailstones and coals of fire. Come on. It's right there in front of you. There went up a smoke out of her nostrils and fire out of her mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. She bowed the heavens also and came down and darkness on her feet. This is what happens when humans get all crazy. Like how they was fucking with David, fucking with the Sibyls and trying to kill the Sibyls and take us on out of here and all this stuff. God comes down. Take you right on up. Seriously. Take you right on up in the cherub. Yes, she did fly upon the wings and darkness was under her feet. We were in dark clouds of the sky and hailstones and cold. That's real shit. Enoch talk about it's real. I've experienced it. Mine was a bit different. We were it was like more of a spaceship. But like again, these are dimensionalities too, because David was constantly pleading for because once you become aware of the Dharma urge or you become enlightened, the Dharma urge turns against you. And the agents, and this shit is in the Bible. This stuff has been going on for thousands of years, where they try to come after your ass if you know too much and try to kill you. And so that's why they want your soul. And so that's why you always hear they came after my soul. They try to take my soul. Jeremiah talked about Nehemiah, in the Bible. This is what they're talking about. The Dharma urge turning against you, trying to get you to give something you don't want to give. And it's like, what the fuck? And so David was talking about that. And so David's praying to God. Obviously, these Sibyls also did this too. Praying to God. And, and sometimes you don't even have to pray. Sometimes God just like, oh, hell no. What the fuck is going on down here? I'm going to get him. I'm going to go get her. Or I'm going to show signs of miracles and wonders of who I am. And so, very powerful. Psalms 18. Okay, so this verse describes a powerful and awe-inspiring depiction of God's intervention and divine presence during the moment of distress, obviously. The passage begins with a plea for help and an acknowledgement that God heard the cry for assistance. It goes out to portray God's response as both tumultuous and majestic. The earth quakes, the foundations of the hills move, smoke and fire emanate, and the heavens bow. Darkness under God's feet, a reference for the concept of the primordial darkness and waters that precede creation. Remember it said, "In dark waters follow." So the primordial darkness is described as God's secret place, signifying a mysterious and foundational aspect of the divine. The imagery of dark waters and thick clouds allude to the chaotic elements that are tamed and ordered by God's presence. Ultimately, the passage conveys the idea that God, in her might and majesty, commands not only the visible world, but also the underlying forces of primordial chaos, bringing order and salvation to those who call upon her in times of distress. So I'm going to be very frank and say something controversial, but these verses were originally authored by women, particularly sibyls and queen mothers. Uh, again, we have parallel universes. So this story played out, certainly, among David. But we're saying that these verses are a lot older, is what we're saying. So during the times when the verses were first conceived, the term Lord as we know it was not used in our dimension. These verses, notably referencing darkness and dark waters, can be interpreted as alluding to the universal dimension of the divine, often personified as the primordial mother. This universal dimension represents an infinite intelligence, a profound cosmic love inherent in the dark cosmos. This cosmic energy is the very force responsible for the creation of dimensions, galaxies, stars, and entire solar systems. In this context, darkness symbolizes primordial energy, closely related to the essence of melanin in the divine feminine principle. It embodies the nurturing and creative aspect of the cosmos, underscoring the crucial role of the feminine in the grand tapestry of existence. While this interpretation challenges traditional notions, it encourages a deeper exploration of ancient wisdom and profound connection to the mysteries of the universe. So now let's keep going. In Isaiah 45:7, it states, I form the light and create darkness. It's right in front of you. The original verses after that refer to creation and destruction of universes, which was interpreted as peace and evil. That was added in. That was not the original verse. It referred to creation and destruction of universes. That's it. So this verse carries profound implications when viewed through the lens of the primordial mother and darkness as the source of creation. It suggests that the concept of a deity, often associated with the divine feminine or the primordial mother, who holds the power to bring light and darkness into existence. This duality represents the fundamental balance in the universe, where light symbolizes creation, illumination, and order, while darkness signifies the unknown, chaos, and a potential for transformation and renewal. So the original verses after the creation and destruction of universes which were interpreted as peace and evil. And a broader context, the subsequent verses that references the creation and destruction of universes can be interpreted as cycles of existence. Creation and destruction are not merely about good and evil, but rather the natural ebb and flow of cosmic forces. Just as day and night follow each other in an eternal cycle, the universe experiences periods of formation and desolation. This perspective aligns with the idea that the primordial mother, symbolized by darkness, encompasses both aspects, nurturing the constant evolution and rebirth of all things. That's all it meant. So the references to primordial mother's waters and also darkness is found in the New Testament for Christians, for those of you into the Jesus. In John 3:5, it states, Truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born of water and the Spirit, he cannot enter the kingdom of God. Jesus is referring to the primordial waters and resonance, which is essentially the Holy Spirit, which in our dimension has always been synonymous with the divine feminine. Remember, tohu in Hebrew is amazement. Bohu in Hebrew means dark void. Ruha means spirit or air. For some of you, this is esoteric, but this is worth doing the research for yourself. It really is. It's right in front of you. So I think I made my point, that I proved what I'm talking about, that I know what I'm talking about. So now let's go to primordial darkness mentioned in Egypt. So in the mystical realm of Egyptian cosmology, the primordial waters of Nun hold a place of profound significance. These waters are not your ordinary oceans, but rather a boundless, chaotic sea that existed before the creation of the world as we know it. Picture it as a vast and formless abyss where time and water yet take place. In the mystical realm of ancient Egyptian mythology, we find the universe in its infancy submerged with the vast and turbulent cosmic ocean. Okay, and so we have Mehet Weret, depicted as a divine cow with a radiant sun disk nestled between her mighty horns, takes center stage. It is from her cosmic womb that the sun itself is born, believed to have risen from the waters of creation, giving birth to the sun god Ra in certain variations of the myth. The universe unfolds with the embrace of the boundless expanse of primordial waters at its heart. Emerges the enigmatic Bin, often symbolized as a pyramid-shaped mound. At this point, imagine a lotus flower gracing the Bin, and when it finally blooms, the radiant figure of Ra emerges, ushering in the dawn of creation. Ra's birth takes place on various forms in different accounts. Sometimes he springs forth directly from the mound, while in other versions he blossoms from a lotus flower that grows upon the sacred mound, taking on the guise of a heron, a falcon, a scarab beetle, or even a human child. In the city of Heliopolis, The role of creation is attributed to Atum, a deity intricately linked with Ra. Atum is believed to have existed into the watery depths of Nu, initially as a dormant and potential being. The concept of chaos in the cosmic narrative is closely tied to the notion of darkness as evident in the term Kek, but primarily centers around the chaotic waters represented by the primary cosmic ocean Nu. The celestial tumult is symbolically countered by the emergence of the first earthly mound, often linked with Atum, especially in Heliopolis, where he is referred to as Ra Atum in the city of Memphis. The deity Ptah plays a similar role. Okay, and so in the genesis of this myth, the existing ocean takes on the persona of the father of gods, known as Nu. As we venture into the historical era, the celestial ocean, which had been concealed beneath the earth, gives birth to the life-giving river, the Nile. Alternative versions of the myth, intriguing connections between the cosmic ocean and chaos come to light, adding layers to the depth of the ancient cosmic narrative. Reference to the Ogdoad, can be traced back to the Old Kingdom of Egypt. And this was a group of 8 primordial deities revered in the sacred city of Hermopolis. Okay, and they were collectively known as the Eightfold. And even during the composition of pyramid texts, which marked the combination of the Old Kingdom funerary literature, the Ogdoad had already started to fade into obscurity, remembered primarily by their dedicated theologians. And so as we navigate through the symbolic layers of the Ogdoad, it is essential to grasp the profound concepts they represent. For instance, in the context of the New Kingdom, the term fluidity is used to encapsulate the essence of flood and life-giving waters. These primordial waters, often associated with chaos and creation, form the backdrop against with which the universe took shape. So it's the same thing. Another facet of Ogdoad is darkness. Again, there isn't mere obscurity, but a representation of primordial darkness that enveloped the cosmos before the emergence of light. So he's saying the same thing, pretty much. I thought that they had mentioned of the Heka. Oh, that came next. Okay, so we're not covering that. That's good, because that's way too long for us. Okay, so now we have the primordial darkness mentioned in India. Obviously, with the rich tapestry of Indian mythology, we encountered a profound concept. Again, that interweaves the notion of darkness, the abyss, and the primordial mothers. This intricate narrative reflects both typical and unique motives, offering a glimpse into the ancient Indian perspective on the origin of the cosmos. In the 10th mandala of the Rig Veda, the universe's original state is portrayed as the rim devoid of distinctions, neither existing nor non-existent, lacking airspace in the sky above, transcending the boundaries of life and death, and untouched by the cycles of day and night. In this primal epoch, one element stands paramount: the presence of water, an inherent disorderly movement it embodies. Within the waters of this internal ocean, a vital life-giving principle emerges, catalyzed by the omnipotent force of heat. This principle in turn gives birth to the myriad facets of existence. Another mandala within the Rig Veda offers an alternative perspective. Here it is proclaimed that the law and truths were born from the kindled heat, signifying the inception of the surging ocean. Within the tumultuous depths of this ocean, the concept of time takes root, manifesting in the birth of a year. This celestial year, as it unfolds, orchestrates the rhythmic distribution of days and night. The Rig Veda repeatedly extols the generative potential of this ocean, characterized as multitudinous and roaring in its essential expansion, birthing creations and bestowing abundant wealth. Within this intricate cosmology, the ocean is even personified, with the god Varuna assuming the mantle of its divine representation. And so Varuna is one of the aspects of the unruly nature of the ocean waters. It's benevolent as well. And so that's one. And then we have, obviously, Kali is often depicted as the embodiment of primordial darkness, is revered as a formidable and compassionate mother goddess. Her origins trace back to the emergence from Durga, symbolizing a transformative evolution within the Hindu pantheon. Kali's primary role is to annihilate malevolence, tirelessly safeguarding against the innocent and the virtuous. Throughout the course of history, Kali has garnered reverence from the diverse devotional movements and tantric sects, each recognizing her distinct facets. She is held as a divine mother, the nurturing force behind the very fabric of the cosmos, often referred to as the principal energy or Adi Shakti. I do have to say, Kali is definitely one of the big head honchos, one of the big wigs as they say. Primordial Mother, she does give reference to Primordial Mother, and Tiamat and her, they're on the same level, but Kali uh, uh, reveres Tiamat very much so. She is training Izili Dantor up to be on that level. Izili Dantor is not quite there yet, but she's certainly an octave of the Kali energy. But Kalima is still training that particular archetype, so an evolution of consciousness. And so again, this is more scientific. I'm not really, and we're getting into the metaphysics. Don't you can take it literal if you want to, but I'm speaking more from the perspective of dimensional consciousness. And so Kali is the big wig, but she does reverence Creator God, Primordial Mother as well. She can go in and out at will as that energy, certainly. But when she's in Kali state consciousness, she reverence that energy, certainly. And so, intriguingly, Kali embodies the feminine aspect of Kala, an epithet attributed to Shiva, and thus stands as Shiva's divine consort. She is referred to as Kali Mata, the Dark Mother, and simply as Kali, emphasizing her profound connection to the essence of darkness as the Black One. Okay, so I mean, I think I made my point with that. So we have primordial darkness mentioned in Asia. So intriguingly, some Japanese myths feature celestial beings descending from the heavens, equipped with formidable tools like iron clubs, spears, to interact with the waters of the vast ocean. Their actions usually involving stirring or interference, leading to facilitating transformation, the condensation of ocean waters, ultimately giving to the earth itself. For instance, Japanese mythology tells of islands of Japan emerging from the ocean's turbulent form, a result of divine figures like Izanagi and Izanami mixing the waters with a sacred spear. In the mythologies of the Mongolian peoples, a distinct role is played by the wind, acting as a compactor of the ocean waters. Through its influence, a unique milky substance forms, which then solidifies into the earth's firmament. According to the Kalmyks, this milky liquid serves as the origin of life, giving birth to plants, animals, humans, and even deities. Interestingly, Indian mythology presents a parallel narrative with the epic churning of the ocean of milk, where the divine forces come together to churn the cosmic sea, yielding remarkable creation and insights into the interconnectedness of the cosmos. These diverse mythologies collectively highlight the profound symbolism of primordial waters and their transformative power in the inception of the world. So there was a battle against that primordial chaos, the divine feminine. And so I'll read that and then we'll be done. The theme of cosmic battles against primordial chaos often symbolized as a divine feminine prevalent in various mythologies across cultures. A recurring motif in these narratives is the cosmogenic struggle featuring a serpent or dragon. This is that Tiamat energy. Remember Primordial Mother? We just read it, Psalms David. Smoke come out of the damn nostril, wings, fire, hailstones. Come on. Which served as the symbol of the suppression of water chaos. Again, this serpent present in most mythologies. Remember, serpents have always been associated with the divine feminine. I know many of you women are afraid of snakes. You hate snakes. Snakes are scary. Always been associated with the divine feminine. And so, again, that's more MK Ultra programming for your ass to get you afraid of yourself. And so this serpent present in most mythologies is clearly associated with water and frequently plays the role of its captor. Its menace lies in the potential to bring about either catastrophic floods or debilitating droughts, thus disrupting the delicate equilibrium and measure of water, thus the essence of the cosmic order. In these mythologies, the cosmos itself is intricately linked with notions of order and measure. Consequently, chaos is viewed as a profound violation of the cosmic harmony, often represented by the serpent's disruptive actions. These tales of conflict and combat symbolize the internal struggles to maintain order in the face of chaos. For instance, in Egyptian mythology, the deity Ra-Atum engages in relentless battle against the subterranean serpent Apep, while Indian mythology tells of Indra's epic confrontation with Vitra, who assumes the form of a serpent. In Mesopotamia, deities like Enki, Ninurta, or Inanna contend with the formidable entity Kerb, ruler of the underworld. Similarly, in Iranian mythology, Tishtri, often associated with the stars, wages a fierce battle against the Deva of Pashi, Okay, so you see this, and the same thing happened with the Tiamat. In Babylonian mythos, Enlil and later Marduk confront the primordial entity Tiamat, who is the consort of Atsu, personifying the dark and chaotic waters. Tiamat, manifesting as a formidable dragon, embodies the very essence of the chaos, and they killed her, raped her, did all types of horrific things to her. Significantly, hints within the Bible allude to a divine struggle against a dragon or a mystical fish. Both symbolic representations of water chaos, often referred to as Rahab or Tehom. So in Chinese mythology, you have the heroic figure Yu the Great embarks on a monumental struggle against the cosmic flood, culminating in the defeat of the treacherous guardian of the waters, Gungu, and his enigmatic ally, the Nine-Headed. Again, if you think about these, all of these fights against this dragon, against this serpent, against the dark waters, primordial waters, these were all men fighting against female entities, goddesses. And so you need to pay attention to the occult, esoteric rather, because I know you guys are scared of the word occult, to the esoteric nature of these stories. This is very serious shit. This is literally telling you about the war against the divine feminine in the cosmos. They try to switch over from the killing, the binding of the divine feminine suppression. It's right in front of you. The divine feminine, often associated with darkness and the primordial waters, embodies the source of creation and the nurturing essence from which all life springs. It is the womb of the universe, representing the electromagnetic forces that govern the cosmos. Forces that are fundamentally feminine in their nature, as they involve attraction, receptivity, and the weaving of the subtle energies. Conversely, the divine masculine, portrayed as the heroic figures in these myths, seeks to assert dominance and control over this primordial chaos. It's right in front of you. Please pay attention. These narratives can be seen as symbolic of an ancient patriarchal desire to suppress the divine feminine and disrupt the harmonious laws of electromagnetism. In essence, they depict an attempt to reverse the natural order by subduing the very source of creation and life itself. This cosmic struggle between the divine masculine and the divine feminine represents a profound metaphysical concept, an eternal dance between complementary forces that, within balance, sustain the universe. It reflects a struggle of dominance over these fundamental energies, often driven by a desire to assert control and power. However, it is important to note that these narratives are not mere celebrations of conflict or subjugation. They carry a deeper layers of meaning, pointing towards the need for balance and harmony between these cosmic principles. Battles symbolizing the internal tension between these forces, highlighting the necessity of coexistence and cooperation from the continued existence and evolution of the consciousness, the cosmos. In essence, these mythological battles serve as allegorical references of humanity's ongoing quest to understand, navigate, and harmonize the interplay between the divine masculine and the divine feminine, as well as the profound electromagnetic forces that govern our universe. Primordial darkness in a scientific sense. So in contemporary cosmology and physics, dark matter and dark energy are profound and mysterious concepts that challenge our understanding of the universe. Dark matter, although unseen and undetectable by conventional means, is believed to make a significant portion of the universe's mass. It exerts gravitational forces influencing the motion of galaxies and galaxy clusters. However, it does not interact with electromagnetic forces like ordinary matter, which renders it dark in a sense of being invisible to our telescopes and detectors. Dark energy, on the other hand, is even more enigmatic. It is thought to be responsible for the observed accelerated expansion of the universe. Unlike dark matter, dark energy is not associated with mass or gravity. Instead, it appears to be the property of space itself, causing the fabric of the universe to expand at an ever-increasing rate. Now let's connect these concepts to the idea of primordial darkness. In a metaphorical sense, primordial darkness can be likened to the mysterious cosmic backdrop when the universe emerged. It represents the unknown and uncharted realm that existed before the birth of stars, galaxies, and cosmic structures. These primordial darkness contains the latent potential for all that is to come, much like the unseen dark matter and dark energy dominant in our universe. We can draw a compelling parallel between dark energy and the concept of the primordial energy as the wellspring of creation. Dark energy, known for its mysterious ability to drive the accelerated expansion of the universe, can be envisioned as the ultimate manifestation of raw potential energy. It is the cosmic force that propels galaxies and stretches the fabric of space itself, akin to the creative impulse that birthed the universe from the primordial darkness. In this sense, dark energy becomes synonymous with creation energy, a force of immeasurable power that gives rise to new cosmic structures and possibilities. Just as primordial energy represents the latent potential of the universe before its birth, dark energy fuels the ongoing cosmic evolution, shaping the destiny of galaxies and celestial realms. These two concepts, though explored through the different lenses, primordial and scientific, resonate with the idea that our universe is driven by fundamental forces and creation forever linked to the timeless darkness from which it emerged. And so, then you have cosmic melanin, and so that's it for what I have to share with you today. What do you guys think about that? I know it was a lot of information, but I think I clearly made my case when I talk about this primordial waters and primordial darkness. It is the divine feminine, and you have to start there. So that's why we cover that first, because we want to start there to give you that raw power, that raw birthing waters, raw primordial birthing waters that all of us were born in. Okay, that the galaxy was born in, that the universe was born in, that the solar system was born in. And so it's very important that we understand that from its beginning. Many humans know this, many of this information is buried, but like I said, that Judaism talks about this. We talked about it in Egypt, we talked about it in Asia. It's nothing new. Okay? But we're bringing it to light, and we're going back to where we started to remember this information. Okay, so the primordial waters is within, and so remember that for the Black woman, the primordial darkness, chaos intelligence, everything that we talked about. If you need to go and review it, and and listen to me reread that chapter so you can catch the codes. If you need to catch codes, if you want to go look up some more information for yourself, then do that. Certainly do that. But that Psalms 18, that David, I mean, I made my point very clear. Very, very fucking clear. Like, it don't get more out there than that. And when I talk about this galactic sense and the energy, that does that sound like a mm, it was deep. It was some codes there, lots of codes. And so this energy, and we take it to the Kalima energy. These are all archetypes of that same energy, of that same dimension. And then you have me today as Kali J.N.S, a new avatar dimension that's traversing through this universe and traversing through dimensions. And so, I'm giving out this information and waking it up. Information that's been around, but just waking it up again, because humanity is in a slumber. You guys have been sleeping, or you guys have misinterpreted the information, or you guys are missing the codes, or you guys are and so we're just bringing it out again while we're going into the age of the divine feminine, as we're ushering in 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 20th dimension, 45th dimension consciousness that many of you guys are going to be siphoned off into. And as we go into different realms, and as when we do ride out, some of you guys will come with me to learn how to make universes, or you will go wherever you want to go. Maybe you go and you'll start your own thing, but I'm certainly here for now to give out these teachings while the time is here. I have been, assaulted spiritually. Many have tried to kill me. Many times assassinate me to prevent me from getting this deep information out to you. This is very powerful information. And so, I take a risk. I have taken a lot of hits. Literally and figuratively, getting this stuff out to you. But this is all I know. I'm not like under bound or under oath on this planet where I can't give out this information. It's like, this is my information. This is the shit that we had a role in creating. So it's like, and I'm speaking interdimensionality. I'm speaking interdimensionally. Rock with me. I'm a spiritual intuitive now, so don't label me or nothing like that. You guys. I wrote that. That's a part of my book, and I have many books. So questioning people saying you can't question my intelligence or anything like that. I am who I say I am, and I am that I am, and so I'm just here to teach, get out this information, and keep it fucking moving. Make my reports, take my documentation of what the hell's been going on down here, and we out. We out. This dimension will never be the same. And for those who got ears to ear, man, like you guys, some of you are going by your prophecies. Go by it. Certainly, you go by Revelations, you go by the Hopi, you go by the Mayan. It's gonna get real down here. Okay, and so, oh man, and I'll be doing a series on the Nakti Church of the Higher Self. If you guys really like, my channelings and more of my spiritual stuff, so I would do some channeling. But we're going to be breaking down like a lot of these verses that Yeshua was saying, because this stuff is flying over people's heads. and it's playing out, and like it's stuff is flying, the parables are flying over people's heads, and they being misinterpreted, and these women are sitting in these churches and listening to these male pastors just getting fucked over, man. And then it's like, this stuff is a psychology book. This man was teaching intergalactic mentalism from my dimension, from our order, that predates Atlantean Freemasonry. So like, this was some deep ass shit he was talking, but it's flying over people's heads. It really is. And so I said, damn, I gotta get back in there and break down these verses again, you know, because either somebody hid this shit, either it was broken down and somebody hid it, or somebody misinterpreted, or the people that call themselves, you know, writing what he said didn't really get it. But you know, so I'll be doing a Yeshua series on the Nazi Church of Higher Self, and I am an ordained minister. And I'm going to be breaking this stuff down. And I'm not trying to get you to, oh, you got to be a Christian. Look, you know, I'm so beyond labels and taxonomy. So beyond that. So beyond that. So please don't come at me with the nonsense. But if you really want to know some of this interdimensional mentalism, galactic mentalism, you really want to get to the bottom of what's really going on here in dimensionality, what Jesus was talking about. This stuff is so relevant, and that's really they lied to you about why they really killed him. I'm gonna be talking about why they really killed his ass and all types of stuff, because it's way deeper. Because he's from my order, actually, from the 125th dimension. He's from our order, and so they try to do the same thing to me, because we come down here and we get the revelation and we just go blah, 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 blah. Well, let's go tell the people. We don't know shit. You know what I mean? It's like, y'all got a whole another system running down here. It's like, no, this stuff's supposed to be secret, and we're like, how's that a secret? Like, what the fuck? And so, you know, we end up getting in trouble, you know, down here, because we're like, oh shit. And so we're gonna break all that down. So ladies, stick with me. It's going down, ladies. Okay, so I'm only an hour and 30 minutes. I thought I was gonna be like 2 hours in, so I'm happy I was only 1 hour and 26 minutes. So thanks for sticking with me. Stick with this series, man. It's gonna be a banger. It's knowledge. It's gonna be of the mental plane and the spiritual plane. But for you guys, this is the Divine Feminine, and I want you guys to rock with it throughout the whole series. And make sure you share it with other women too. Don't just keep it for yourself. If you pick up on gems and code or revelations and it just hits your ass, make sure you try to pass it on, you know, to another person. Because we are about enlightenment for our species, okay? And so please do that. And so hope I made my point clear that you got it. The first video, which is Primordial Darkness, which is Divine Feminine, that gives rise to the resonance, which is your Heka. And then it gives rise to your electromagnetism and then the divine. And so we start there. And then the cosmic and the microcosmic level, primordial waters, is what all humans, what all mammal species, you know, you have to go through primordial waters in your mommy's womb to get here into this realm. And so it's very deep. And so I hope I made my point clear. Love you guys. Please purchase the Knock the Queen Mothership Part 3 book. Get that book. Is some heavy information, and in that way to support me to keep going with the work that I want to do. I would teach full time if I could. I would do this for free. I have been doing this for free. I've been shadow banned and purposely blocked and blacklisted and stuff by organizations and shit like that. Like you just it's pretty alarming. And so, you know, the support counts, you know, and so this is just all I know is to get revelations, commune with the gods, and get information out. And so that's what I do most of my time. I'm usually writing, coming up with a little project for the school. You know, I have the Tut language course that I'm working on. We do live sessions for that, so that's now available too if you're Black American and you're interested in Tut language. We have live role plays, live open mics with Tut music, Tut poetry. There's also obviously curriculum along with that you could follow through. But once you make your payment, you could come to the live sessions as much as you want. You know, it's just a one-time payment. And so for the course itself, and you get the course and you do the course, and then you attend the live sessions weekly, twice a month. And so that's another project that I am working on that I'm passionate about. I like the Tut language. I like culture, and so that's something that you guys can also show support on. And so I'll talk to you guys later. Love you. Be good.